Okay, I'm going to show you my Who record collection, and just like I did with the Bob Dylan one, and just like I'll do with probably all of the other ones, I'm doing it on iTunes just because, again, like I say, it's much easier to just click over than go through all the physical CDs and stuff. We'll start with 2006 album, Endless Wire. It was their first album in, I think, about 24 years. So, and it's funny because it didn't seem like they had much rust at all for, you know, it being their first album in so long. Good album. Face Dances, good album, sad album because it is, you know, it was their first full album with Kenny Jones, the guy on the bottom line of Faces, who obviously came in when Keith Moon died in '78, and this album is from the early '80s, '81 I think. It's Hard, 1982, good album, not one of my favorites, but a good album. I remember this being on my dad's wall. This was one of the first two things I ever got, and I got it just because, you know, I had it for like a day before going out and buying, you know, a bunch of other CDs. Odds and Sods is from 1974. Good album. It's basically like one of the first, like, you know, like Bob Dylan and the Beatles and all these bands have done all these like bootleg series things where they, you know, put outtakes from different sessions for different albums, and this is that's exactly what Odds and Sods is. It's really cool because it's funny because when I listen to a lot of that bootleg stuff from whatever band, you know, so I can't help but think, you know, how the heck didn't, you know, this song make the album? Well, this is almost better than the original version, and so on. This album, which is playing right now, Quadrophenia, possibly their best album, just an unbelievable album. It was, I mean, I don't even know what to say. 1973, Real Me, which is playing. I don't even know if you can hear it. 5:15, Love Ran Over Me. Just an unbelievable album. It's another rock opera like Tommy, so he had a lot to live up to, obviously, with Tommy, but he definitely did a great, you know, Pete Townsend did a great job with that one. A Quick One is a good album. I think it's 1966 or 67. Songs like Run, 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 Don't Look Away, Whiskey Man, obviously a Quick One. Really good album. Tommy, obviously the album that made them superstars. For 1969, they, you know, with Pinball Wizard, See Me, Feel Me, you know, whatever else. But they, you know, they called this, when Tommy came out, actually when Tommy was originally released, it wasn't a big hit, and then it sort of became more of a hit, and when it actually exploded, they called that their printing money era, because it was just such a huge hit. This album, along with Tommy, I think this one, Tommy was their best-selling album, but I think that Who's Next is their greatest-selling album, and their greatest album, I think, without a doubt. With songs like, you know, Baba O'Reilly, or, you know, a lot of people know it as Teenage Wasteland, but the name of it's Baba O'Reilly. You know, Bargain, Going Mobile, Behind Blue Eyes, Won't Get Fooled Again. I mean, it's like a hits record. I mean, it's like a greatest hits of the 70s, you know, or well, early 70s. I think 71 is when Who's Next came out. Could be wrong. Who Are You? A little story about this album. My dad had all his album covers on the wall at his house, in his basement. In the game room, he had all like these album covers, all of his old album covers lining the walls as sort of almost like a wallpaper. And he was telling me about this album when I was young. Before I listened, I was still in the phase where I was listening to what everybody else listened to, pop music and whatever, when I was just a kid. And he was telling me about the significance of Keith Moon in that chair. Because, I mean, this album came out, I think, the year that Keith died. And that chair says not to be taken away, the chair that Keith is sitting in. And that sort of stuck with me. And great album. Obviously, the title track is huge. Sister Disco, huge. Who Are You is probably, I don't know, that could be their most well-known song. I think the easiest one to sort of people that, you know, most people have heard before. Great album. Who by Numbers, 1975, songs like Squeeze Box and Slip Kid. This is a good album, actually. I actually really enjoyed this album. Great cover. I wonder how many people actually like connected the dots on the cover. The Who Sell Out. Now, see, I always thought that these were actual ads, like actual commercials for like pirate radio stations. This is from 1967, but apparently they were just faux commercials, just as a complete joke, even though they have like the pictures of Heinz baked beans and the deodorant and whatnot. So I don't really know, but that is definitely pretty random. But if it is just a complete joke, that it is really random, but funny at the same time. My Generation, their debut album, 1965, with songs like My Generation and The Kids Are Alright and, you know, whatever. This is just, for being, you know, young kids making this kind of music, it's pretty impressive. This is one of my all-time favorite bands, and I don't even know what to say. Go out and buy Who's Next, and listen to it, and you will be a fan, I guarantee it. Thanks for watching.